Hi everyone. Guess what? You're joining Mel and I today for another episode of what Mel feels we need to talk about today. This could be very illuminating. So let Mel join us. And action.
And action. Yeah, hi everybody. Well, we've been putting this off for 3 days now.
That's because Mel wants to be outside.
Yeah, because I'm getting tired of the green room, and I'm sure some of you would want to see what the backyard looks like in Sunday. But anyways, we put it off on Sunday because there was a party going on next door. Then you got usually the guy with the lawnmower doing his thing, or a dog barking. And today we got about a 30-kilometer-an-hour wind, so I don't know if anybody's going to be able to hear us. But we're going to go ahead anyways. In this particular video today, we're going to be talking about communication. And this would apply to communications in all forms of relationship, be it twin flame, be it divine partnership. And there, our nice cat now is going to come and whine at the window, so we'll have musical accompaniment here. And all relationships in general. Now, in the past, what I had done is I had made mention of 4 particular principles or precepts that I thought were very important.
Which ones?
What?
You said the 4 precepts?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't tell me about that.
Yes, I did.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, were those ones you marked on the page for me? Did you really?
Hello.
Okay, well, I guess I only worked on the first one. He's
Okay.
got 3 more projects for me to work on, so
Yes,
you
actually-
possibly may see me in 3 more videos.
3.
Okay.
3 more.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, the first one's going to be communication, and the second one's going to be compromise, and the third one's going to be negotiate, and the fourth one's going to be navigate. And Nicole has politely said that she will find the time to do the video. She's a very busy lady managing the whole operation here. She's the brains of it all, but she has said she will find the time to do it. Now, in getting into it, what we've been finding, because we've been connecting with a lot of people and working with a lot of people, and I wanted to start the video off this way, is many of you have been familiar with what I like to call the bubble phase, where you get into this mystical state, you talk for hours and hours on end, you're in total agreement with everything, everything seems to flow with harmony and balance. And then all of a sudden, a few days later, or a few weeks, or even a few months later, it all seems to disappear, and you're into all kinds of he said, she said, communication problems, and whatever else goes on. And a lot of people, and this doesn't just apply to twin flames, it applies to regular relationships, soulmate relationships, and also the other term that I'm using a lot lately, and Nicole is too, divine partnership, is communicating. And in the past, we've had the same problem and gotten into what I call at that particular point in time the power struggle. And I think Nikki would agree that we've had a lot of problems with it. And learning how to communicate has become kind of very important to us. And it's going to be very important to a lot of other people in regards to their particular union. Did you want to kind of throw anything in at this point?
No,
No?
not yet.
I'm doing fine so far?
You are.
Okay. One of the things that we have found, and I don't mean to say this with any, shall we say, criticism-minded focus towards people, but we are finding that a lot of people, when they experience this bubble of phase, are touching into another aspect of what I call a very high spiritual connection, a soul connection, if you want to put it into simple terms. And as we revert back to our normal state of consciousness, we've been presented with something that's there as a potential for everyone, I might add, not just for a select few. But what happens is, and I've come to this conclusion, and again, it's not criticizing people, but I find a lot of twin flames, a lot of soulmates, and even a lot of people that are connecting in divine partnerships have not reached a level of spiritual maturity that they're able to handle these types of situations, and they revert back into what I call emotional dialogue, or in some cases, in working with some of them, and I think, Nicole, you would agree with me, they seem to revert back to like they were 15 or 16-year-old teenagers, and they're back and batting back and forth and coming up with the most childish antics. Belief systems and behavior patterns are showing up that are totally ridiculous to start off with. There's no communication at all. It becomes a pitched battle, more or less, between the two of them. And what's happened is all of the old templates of relationships that have been incorporated into the etheric body, and specifically templated into the emotional body, are now coming up. And this is where a lot of people need to learn how to communicate. So having said that, I'm going to get Nicole to share a little bit, if she will, about how we have learned to communicate in our particular divine partnership at the moment. Notice the word divine partnership I'm using. Well, let them have it.
For communicating? No, you definitely took
How we resolve issues, or when we have, because we do have, I don't call them fights, but I'll call them, say for example, we have a disagreement. How do we resolve it?
How do we resolve it? Let's see. Well, I usually sit there in shock and awe. And Mel usually reverts to the cave, which is the pigeon loft. So that's pretty much how we start at base one.
Okay.
I'm teasing. That is usually how it's done, but we do resolve it. We need time out for each other. Usually it's probably best to not speak. You have, for a short period of time, you have a certain period where you have to think about what you said, and in some cases with a lot of you do see a lot, to the point where it's so hurtful that the other person just completely walks out the door, but that's not the case. I guess the thought process that I had in mind was you should think before you speak, because words can really hurt, and I think that's a really important thing. There's a lot of times where I could probably say a lot of very, very hurtful things to Mel, because I know how sensitive he is, but I pretty much figure that he would be in the Egyptian tomb for a week if I really did speak the way I wanted to speak. So I think before I speak. Now,
remember that point. Think before you speak.
I think that's the first one.
Okay.
But there is a settling of a period at a time. I had a different process as to where I was going with communication. But that's okay. I will let Mel continue on with what he's saying. He's going somewhere with it. How do I resolve it? I give him his space. Some women, I guess they need space too. I don't need as much space because I just want to get it out in the open and work it out right away. But I find men are a different beast, and they tend to want to, they pout and sulk and they move away. And then when they're ready to resolve, they come back and they kind of act normal, which is stupid, I think. Because I'm sitting there
from my perspective,
from my perspective, it's not resolved, so I'm still pissed anyways. It's not resolved, whereas they just totally let it go. I guess there's a positive and a negative to it, but makes me happy because he really isn't upset anymore, and it kind of makes me laugh how he can bounce back. Now that's just him. That's because he's a Cancer. So another point too that I would recommend, because I'm sure more ladies are watching this than men, but the men can do this too, is that you should profile your partner and do an astrological chart on them and find out what their basic sign is and what their rising sign is. And then you can really find out more about their personality and character. And then you will not be so hurtful or step on their toes. You will know how to work the stepping path around your partner. And that is something that I've also learned with Mel, to assist with communicating with him.
Yeah, like where you
I took it a little bit different direction,
it's fine.
And I was going to go in another direction, but we're obviously not there yet, folks. So we'll let Mel continue, because I know how you all love to listen to him. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, the other thing that I wanted to mention about the communication part of it is, for us in particular, well, I guess I could say for myself, is I don't feel that any situation should go on for an extended period of time. For example, it doesn't really matter to me anymore who or what initiated any kind of a clash of energy or verbology or wordology or whatever the hell else might take place. But I think it's very important that it be addressed as soon as possible. I think Nicole is the same way. She doesn't like to leave it go too long, and neither do I. We both have our respective ways that we handle it initially. Of course, I run to the pigeon loft in the back and do my thing out there. But the situation has to be resolved very, very quickly. And usually, if we do have a communication problem come up, I would say probably they usually are resolved within an hour, 2 at the most in most situations. Whereas for some of you, it may go on for days, weeks even, where the situation is resolved. And what I find is when there is for whatever reason, a clash of energy comes up, that's exactly what I'm talking about, is the energy doesn't allow for me to sit and hold a grudge. I am not capable of holding a grudge with anyone. I am capable of getting annoyed and pissed off with people on occasion at the moment, but I'm not able to hold a grudge afterwards and get into that type of an energy thing. It's just not there in me anymore. And I'm finding that with a lot of people, when they get into these high vibrational spiritual connections, they're still not understanding that you have to learn how to communicate all over again, and you really have to pay attention. You have to, I'll put it to you this way. Recently I got into a thing where I put a group up on Facebook where I started a group called Grow Up and Grow Into. And that's actually what I think a lot of us have to do, is we have to really grow up and grow into being, first of all, spiritually a mature individual, which a lot of people seem to think that they are, and then when they have these types of connections that take place, they find out that they're not quite as mature as they thought they were, and that they're pretty much human when it comes to dealing with the emotional body that carries all of the triggers, if I can put it that way, and I'll use that word, triggers, that are templated within the etheric body. Another comment that I do want to make in this video is I'm not a believer in what a lot of people call the mirror effect. I don't buy that theory at all. Because what happens is when you have these situations coming up, it is simply what's there that's coming up for the individual growth of the person mirroring each other. It has nothing to do with it. They're going to come up anyways, whether another person is involved or not down the road. So the mirror effect really doesn't apply in that sense. Okay, Nicole, you wanted to go in another little bit of a direction with it too.
No, I think now you're going in the same direction.
Okay, cool. See? There we go. We got a happening going on. Go ahead.
Actually, that's a good point that you brought up now. For the trigger. I'm glad you say that, because we do get emails about people saying, oh, this the mirroring effect. And, you know, as far as twin flames go, I never looked at Mel as a mirror or a reflection of myself. I always saw him as triggering aspects of who and what I am, and my weaknesses, and where I need to look at myself, and where I need to become a better person. And I think I feel more comfortable with that.
You agree with you?
Well, yeah, because I look at Mel and I can tell you he's totally not me. Absolutely not. I'm not being critical of his personality and his character. I'm just saying he is not like me. I don't find he mirrors me at all. I am my own individual, and but what he does is trigger certain things. But I think I do it to him more, actually.
You do.
Poor man, he'll get rid of me
If
someday. I
anybody can
guarantee
push
you.
my buttons, she does. But she does it
Yeah.
in a way now that's really, really nice, because I know she's coming sometimes, not all the time. And then sometimes she does this. I don't know how she does it. It's a real skill she's got. She knows that there's something that's bugging me that needs to be addressed, and she has an approach that she will use, which I rather like. It's kind of, she doesn't come right at you like a bulldozer. She kind of goes to the side and just drops a little seed here or a little peck there, kind of deal. And I know where she's going with it. and it's okay, I don't mind. And then one day it just kind of happens and it kind of comes out. So we kind of learn how to communicate at many different levels. For I guess what I'm saying is we're both in understanding that we're dealing with the emotional body and its triggers, but we're also understanding that it's now become like a game. It's not a confrontation anymore. It's like we've grown into and grown up to the point, I like that expression, grown into and grown up to the point where we're spiritually mature enough now that we can understand the interplay that's going on energetically, say for example from the emotional body. And the emotional body is not a negative thing. It's just that the emotional body has been programmed with so many triggers that are an illusion, that are not, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out here. What's the word?
I don't know. I'm thinking.
Okay. It's not, it's been programmed with so many, so much dogma, so much belief system, so much behavior function that is simply not applicable in any kind of a divine partnership or a twin flame union or a soulmate connection or any kind of relationship for that matter. So what happens is that when you start reverting back to this, you have to go through. And I think when a lot of people, what happens when they toss in the towel and they give up, actually what they're saying is they're not capable of learning how to communicate at a very high spiritual vibrational level. Indication of that is when you have these intense experiences in the beginning and everything is beautiful, everything's wonderful, and you all can remember how you communicated, how you got along. There wasn't anything that you disagreed upon. Yet, when it reverts back down into three-dimensional consciousness again, all of a sudden everything's gone to shit. And you start blaming each other back and forth as to what's going on.
Maybe you're caught up in the bubble initially. So I don't fully agree with what you're saying.
No,
I
say you
like
don't understand. Don't say you don't agree.
I like what you're saying, but initially when you're in that bubble effect, you allow certain things to go by because you're caught in that other person's energy field, that mesmerization, that whole feeling.
Said.
Yes, I realize that, but that's what I'm saying, is that you tolerate those imperfections, or you allow what you don't necessarily want to see about that person. You allow that to go, and eventually...
Well, I think I disagree with you, because I don't think when you're in that high intensity phase, you tolerate anything. There's no tolerance there, because you're in that harmonized vibrational state, and the last thing you're thinking of is anything that's bothering you about the person, so it's simply not there. So you're in total harmony. It's when the vibration comes down.
Okay, I see, but that's how a man thinks.
Well, of course that's how a man thinks.
That's
I'm
right.
a man, last time I checked.
And so, again, folks, here we see a man speaking and a female speaking.
And I
really appreciate that about Mel. I think he's helping so many people with what he just said. I'm just saying that he's not wrong. He's speaking from his point of consciousness, where from my point of consciousness, that is how I was. He wants us to describe our experiences, and that's how I was. Yes, I was in a bubble effect. Yes, I could see the imperfections. But yes, I was willing to compromise and move beyond because I saw potential in the person that I was with. And I saw an effort where I could grow spiritually in the relationship. So from my point of view, yes, I was in the bubble effect. But did I tolerate it? Yes, I did, because I saw a beautiful person blossoming from you, not necessarily in the moment, but down the road if I decided to stay longer.
That was quite a mouthful. That's what I call compromising and navigating and negotiating. We're really on a roll here. Hey, what do you think? We're really on a roll. This is how it's done, you see. This is what you have right here at this moment. We had a little bit of a disagreement, which we've now modified, turned it around, put it into a balanced and unified format, and look at this. We have two happy cats sitting right here. Nobody's hitting each other. There's no diverse conversation going on and all of that gobbledygook that the rest of you want to do sometimes on occasion. We have navigated, negotiated, and communicated with each other, and we have come to a compromise, and we have a unified field of energy emanating here on this, hopefully, YouTube video that's going to go up. with a
So-
30-kilometer-an-hour wind.
So my last comment to you would be, or to all of you out there, so I wanted to see where Mel was going to it, and I will leave you with this last comment, and that is...
You're not leaving. We're not done yet.
Well, we can't continue this video forever,
No, but we can continue it for at least another 5 minutes.
and that'll be you.
No, no.
It'll be you. So, there goes Mel again. What I wanted to make a comment about was in certain individuals who are having difficulties, you need to be self-aware. And I think that is something that a lot of us are not. We enter into connections and we are blown off of our feet, and you want to have all of these understandings, yet you do not even understand yourself, and you do not have some kind of a root or a foundation for the basis of your own concept of love and relationship.
Yeah.
And before I walked into my connection with Mel, I did a certain amount of work with myself. Of course, I did a lot when I was with him and still am with him. But you should be looking at the areas of your 5 energy bodies, and that is your etheric, spiritual, mental, and emotional. Did I get them all? Physical? It's the 5 energy bodies.
Just
that
say
Mel,
5. No,
yeah,
so.
you know, I got to keep a little paper so I make sure I don't make a mistake, else some YouTuber will say, you forgot this. So, you know, I don't need people telling me that. It's just we're having fun here with the 5 energy bodies. But you need to look at that as part of your communication package. Does this person communicate on those 5 energy levels? And that's where I was going to go with this. I know a lot of people were expecting more how-tos on the communicating. That's right. That's why I was saying I wanted to see exactly where you were going. Well, I'm not going to be here forever.
What the hell's that got to do with it? Just spit it out. I mean, it's good stuff. That's excellent. Go ahead.
I don't know how you people continue to watch these videos. It's crazy.
Well, we're having fun.
Okay.
And we're negotiating. Let's negotiate and communicate.
So with the 5 energy bodies, perhaps what you need to do is spend time with self, as Mel says, and I'm sure he's giving you a lot of videos on how to help yourself. But decide on when you want to have that great communication with somebody, even if you're not in a relationship at that point. You best look at and discern that particular person and how many of those 5 energy bodies can you communicate with on that person. Do you have a spiritual connection? Do you have... Everybody usually has an amazing physical connection. Well, what are the areas that are fulfilled? Do you think that person can emotionally communicate with you on the long term? Mentally, can you communicate at that level? So these are, you know, I don't think with any relationship you're ever going to have the full 5 potential. I don't think that we can always strive for the perfection, but I don't think
Reasonably close will do.
Reasonably close. I like that one. That's a good term. That you know.
Yeah, perfection is not required. Reasonably close will do.
But it's moving in that direction, so I don't want to say any more because.
Okay, well, I got a couple of things that I
go
want to...
for it. See, I told you to be able to do it.
I am in total agreement with what Nicole was saying. Is a lot of people are not understanding that the template for relationships has changed. The situation of what Twin Flames came here to do is accomplished. The template has now been changed.
I drink too much.
You okay? Okay. Should be good for a choke. Don't choke on me.
No.
Anyways, the template...
Sorry.
The template has changed. Twin Flames have done 2 parts of their mission format, and that is 1, take on the ancestral patterns of their soul group and family, which I've gotten into. The second was to change the template of relationships as we've known it, which they've now also done. And that template is now for everyone, and I want to emphasize the everyone here. Everyone on the planet now potentially has access to what I call divine partnership, if I can put it in that term. That means that everybody without exception is now going to start experiencing these very intense connections, like it or not. And I can see many people are not prepared for it. They're not ready for it from a conscious level point of view. That higher self and the soul is saying, oh yes, you are. But so many of us want to drag our old concepts of relationship, love, sexuality into this higher plane of vibration, and it's not going to happen. We need to learn, as Nicole was saying, how to meld all of those energies with ourselves. The thing we're talking about, the communication. You first of all need to communicate with yourself, learn how to communicate with yourself, have some intelligent dialogue with yourself, and then you need to start making some compromises with yourself and letting go piece by piece, line upon line, precept upon precept, if you want, of some of these old templates that you're hanging on to. This in turn will release some of those triggers in the emotional body and also some of the stuff that's in the etheric body, because Nicole is quite correct. Everyone's going to have to learn how to meld, mold, and move those 5 energies through those 5 bodies through their system. Otherwise you're going to end up running into a lot of problems. And this is what we were talking about in this particular video today. Okay, I don't think we need to make it too much longer. The final thing that I want to say is that I have started, I guess begrudgingly, a Facebook group. I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but I did start the Facebook group. If any of you are interested in getting into that group, you are invited, but there is a theme to the group that is there, and if you are interested, that theme is open to just about anything except conversation on twin flames, if you can believe it or not. I'm saying that being in a twin flame union with Nicole, and we are talking about ourselves now as a divine partnership. So the group is oriented towards that, and to self-growth, self-awareness, and to self-rehabilitating, if I can put it that way. And I think on that note, did you want to add anything in?
No.
Okay.
I just had a great time in the wind here this whole time.
Yeah, I hope that this video is going to turn out, and there's supposed to be some kind of mechanism on this camera for filtering out the wind. I don't know about the obscene remarks we made, but okay, I'm the cameraman too, and we're a low-budget organization here, so I have to get up and shut it off. So, very good day to everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Once again, if you want to have some assistance, further assistance, go to our website, twinflames.ca, and send us an email, reunion@twinflames.ca. Mel, thank you.